Hello, welcome to Women's Financial Empowerment Group. I'm your host, Ruth Agbeloso, and I'm doing a live. It has been a while since I've done a live recording, and in true transparency, as if you're used to me, you know that I like to be transparent. I tried to go live on TikTok, did not work out. So I'm going to figure that out. But for now, I just want to welcome you to today's live. I'm going to be talking about financial self care. So I look forward to diving in. I'm going to wait like another minute to see who gets on. But just no more than a minute because they could always watch this as a replay. But it's really great to be on today. If you're new to me, my name is Ruth Agbeloso, and I am a financial coach. I primarily work with high income earning divorced moms who want to manage their money with less stress so that they can embrace a life of abundance. What I have found that a lot of women make good money, but they're not managing their money well, so it's not able to do what they need it to do. A lot of them that I speak to, they're concerned about retirement. They feel like they have to work until they die because they just didn't get certain things in order, or they're not really set up so that their children can win financially. So, those are some of the things that I address in my coaching program and here on YouTube. So, if this is your first video, I encourage you to come back again and watch the other videos that I have. Okay. We are a minute and 35 seconds in, 36 seconds in. So I'm going to get ready and I'm going to get started. And just bear with me 1 second. Let me make sure that I can be seen. Let me turn the sound down on this one. All right, awesome. Okay, looks good so far. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to try to keep up with the chat while I do this and answer your questions or read your comments. So feel free to just flood the chat and I will get to them. Okay. So, first of all, what is financial self care? We talk about self care in terms of the mind, we talk about the body, we talk about, in terms of mind, we talk about making sure that we have healthy thoughts, we go to therapy, things like that. We talk about the body, making sure we take bubble baths or wear nice scents or whatever it is that makes our body feel good. And we talk about spiritually being connected with the creator and all the things that go with that. So there's so many different areas of self-care, but I don't really hear a lot of people talking about financial self-care. So I figured it was a good topic that we could dive into today, and I hope that you enjoy this topic. Please go ahead and give a thumbs up to this video, and the more thumbs up I get is the more people will be able to see that I am live and they'll want to join in as well. So when it comes to financial self-care, and I'm looking at my notes to make sure I stay on target and not ramble off, ramble on. Well, when it comes to financial self care, it's all about making sure that you are well financially, that you're managing your finances in a way that's going to be aligned with your lifestyle, what you actually want. So it definitely takes into consideration your ability to manage your finances in a way that makes sense, and also having something to manage, I guess, would make sense as well. Okay. um all right, let's see any comments. All right, welcome. Please feel free to say hello in the chat. I would love to know who's on. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, since I don't see any comments just now. All right. It's very, very important to take care of your financial self care, because lack of taking care of your financial self care, I know we're saying the word care so many times, leads to so many things going wrong in your life. So I found that there's hardly an area of your life that does not impact your finances or is not impacted by your finances. So that's why financial self care is so important. Okay. Financial self-care, again, is about taking care of yourself financially so that you can live a life of abundance. I talk about living a life of abundance a lot on my channel. And basically, abundance is having more. And it's not just financially, it can be spiritually. But when I say life of abundance, I mean a whole picture, not just financially. All right. There is a connection between money and mental health. And I believe I do have a video where I talked more about this. But in any event, what goes on with you mentally impacts every area of your life. Would you agree with that? Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. Okay, so your money and your money habits is not left out of that. What's going on in your mind affects your money and vice versa. When people um, are depressed or they have anxiety, a lot of studies show that that has an effect on their finances, how they manage their finances, and they tend to be very neglectful. And I'll go into some signs of financial stress as we go further on in this talk. But there's a big link between your mental health and your finances. So if you're not mentally well, it is possible that you're not going to be financially well, or you're going to suffer financially as a result if you don't get help or put the proper um, things in place to make sure that you are on target with your finances. All right, and I don't see any comments yet, so I'm going to go ahead. All right, so financial stress. I kind of mentioned that a little bit. Financial stress can be caused by so many things. It can be caused by a job loss. It can be caused by not having enough money to pay your bills, or mismanagement of funds, losing money, such as with gambling or wrong type of investment, or any type of investment, you can lose money. It can be caused from someone taking money from you or not allowing you to spend money, such as when I talk about financial abuse. And I have a video on that as well. But financial stress can be caused from so many things. And actually, financial stress is not always bad. Sometimes financial stress can be a good thing, meaning there's a lot of money that you need to manage. And figure out where everything goes. You have to make sure you have your life insurance in place. You have to make sure you have your investments, your savings, your children's education, and on and on and on. So that can be stressful, but I wouldn't consider that a bad stress. But stress is stress. Too much stress sometimes can have adverse effects. So let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced financial stress. I know so many people that come to me have experienced financial stress, and that's why they come to me as a financial coach, to help them manage their money better, so that they can relieve that financial stress. All right. So financial stress can lead to anxiety, depression, and it could also lead to strained relationships. It could lead to other things as well. But a perfect example of this is, having issues with your money, so therefore you're fighting with your spouse, and those fights can lead to separation, divorce, or just being in a household where you're not speaking to each other, or the communication breaks down. Money stress can cause a lot of things, so it's important to be aware of it. um, I'll just give you another example here of strained relationships. So I remember some situations in my life in the past, way years ago, where I owed money to someone. And, it just, when I say someone, I mean a company. And it made me so stressed that I was avoiding opening mail, I was avoiding phone calls, because it was just a very hard situation. And yes, my doorbell is ringing. I think that's a package, so I'm gonna ignore it. So financial stress led to all of those things. Um, all of those behaviors that I was having because I was just so stressed about the situation, not being able to pay off that debt. And I don't know if you've been through that and how you handled that, but I remember so many times where it was like, tell them I'm not home. I am so sorry, y'all. Somebody keeps ringing my doorbell. Let me go get that. Thank you. I am back, guys. Sorry for that, but someone kept ringing the doorbell. That's what happens when you're live. These things do happen. So, like I was saying before, that stress of owing money put so much pressure on me that that's how I handled it. I was just avoiding the situation altogether. So leave a comment in the comment section because I would love to find out, if you've gone through financial stress, like owing money, having a debt, and then just feeling that pressure, like, oh, I can't answer the phone, or oh, I can't open my mail. Thankfully, I don't do that anymore. I'm not in that situation, but that was really difficult going through that because having those avoidance behaviors did not make the situation any better. Okay? So some of the signs that you're going to want to look out for when it comes to money stress is sleep disturbances, irritability, anger, like angry outbursts, things like that. Excuse me. A lot of times when things just aren't coming together with your finances, you may find that even you're dreaming and you're dreaming about the situation. You're dreaming about someone coming to repossess your car, or you're dreaming about not being able to pay something, or not being able to retire, or some other dream like that. Or you just may just have a hard time falling asleep because you can't shut your mind off, things like that. Or you just may become irritable, like, leave me alone. You just have a very low tolerance for people bothering you, talking to you, all that stuff. The kids may want things, and then as they come to you asking for things, you become more irritable because you know that financially you're just not in the right place, or there's some things that are kind of lacking. So that financial stress can come out in those particular ways. And financial stress can also manifest itself through physical things such as hives, high blood pressure, and so many other things. So many other health issues can come about because of financial stress. Have you ever thought about that? That those things can be related? Leave a comment in the comment section. I'd really want to know, if you've ever experienced that or know anyone who has gone through that, or if you were not aware of it. Please definitely share, because I think that not enough people talk about that connection there. When you know that you're in a situation where you've overspent, or you just don't have your money set up the right way so that you can be free, you can go on trips and you can spend money without feeling stressed out. Sometimes you can become ill, physically ill, as a result. Okay. All right, awesome. And thank you so much for coming on here. Please go ahead and hit the like button so that other people will be able to see the video. I really appreciate you for that. So it's important to recognize these signs early. When you notice that as a result of the financial situation that you're in, you're starting to feel irritable, angry, you're having trouble sleeping, other things like that, you definitely want to reach out for help. And I highly recommend a therapist. That is my background. My background is in therapy, but I'm also a financial coach. So those two people can be really helpful. A therapist will really help you do a deep dive and see what's going on with you, what has transpired to get you to where you are right now. And a financial coach will also deal with those money mindset blocks and deep rooted things that are causing you to mismanage your finances. That's definitely what I do as a financial coach. And So those are important, okay? So those would be my recommendations. Now, let's get into self-care strategies for managing your money stress, okay? It's important to have some self-care strategies in place when it comes to your finances so that you can be financially well. Um, so there are some that I recommend, such as regularly checking your accounts. Now, let me tell you, there are computer issues that can happen that can affect your account. I remember people who found out that they went into their account and they had like $5,000 more than what they put in there or what they should have had in. There was some error that occurred. So it's important to regularly check your accounts. Just be really well acquainted with them. Check your savings, check your checking accounts. Make sure that you know what's supposed to come in, what's supposed to go out, if there are any additional fees. Just get in the habit of it, because when you're in the habit of it, then it won't feel so daunting. It won't feel stressful if you're just used to doing it. So it's not like, oh my gosh, let me check because I have a bill coming out, or oh my gosh, let me check because of this. But you make it a priority to do regular checks, just like you would with your bestie. You want to check up on your bestie and see how she's doing. You want to check your bank accounts and see how they're doing, making sure that things are what you expect and there's no extra fees being taken out of, or something that maybe you thought was covered and didn't get covered. You want to definitely do that on a regular basis. The other thing that I would recommend is getting organized by knowing where your financial documents are and putting them together. I remember times where years ago where I just didn't know where everything was. And I went through Susie Orman course. Susie Orman is one of the financial gurus. I remember going through her course, and that was one of the things that she had everyone do, is making sure that you have all of your documents in place. And that was something that I grabbed onto, and that's what I taught my clients as well, making sure you know where your documents are. That's vital, because if something were to happen, or if you need something, you don't want to now be scrounging around looking for it. But when you're organized, it takes off some of that stress because you know exactly where things are. Okay. And there are some mindfulness techniques that I definitely recommend, such as having a budget. Budgeting is a word that, I find that for some reason, a lot of people don't like that word. They shy away from that word. So I like to call it different things, like a money control system. But basically, a budget is how you just keep your money organized. And I love that a budget gives you freedom. It gives you the freedom to do more of what you want to do. A lot of people think of it as something that restricts you, but it's really a mindset thing. If you see it as something that restricts you, then it's hard for you to really follow it and achieve success with your budget. But if you see it as something that brings you freedom and you're able to use it to get more out of life, then that's what it's going to do for you, and you're going to be successful with it. So definitely practice budgeting and using a method of budgeting that's right for your situation. That's something that I go over in my coaching program with my clients, because a lot of times you may follow a specific type of budgeting method that may not be right for you, and then the next thing you know, you're off course because it just didn't work for you. So you want to make sure that you're using a budgeting method that's right for you. Okay. You also want to set financial goals. You want to set financial goals. And again, videos. I have lots of videos on this. So, videos on financial goals. So, I'll just run through it really quick. First of all, you want to know exactly what you want to achieve. Then you want to have steps for how you're going to achieve that, as well as when you're going to actually achieve your goals. That is a great way to be mindful, because then your behaviors will line up with whatever the goals are that you want to achieve. And you know what? That brings you peace, knowing that you're going to be able to achieve those goals because you're doing what it takes to achieve them. Okay. Another thing I want to add as far as budgeting is you want to make sure that you have what I call fun money. That money that you have set aside to take care of your self-care. And that could be money set aside for your spa day, or to get your nails done, your hair done, to go on a little trip, to buy something special for yourself. It's important to have that money set aside in your budget so that you can do the things that bring you joy, and it's not feeling so restrictive that it's like, oh, I never get to do anything. Oh, I hate budgeting. It really stings. So you definitely want to make sure that you have fun money set aside. Okay. And you get to determine what that is based on your income and your expenses. Of course, when you make your budget, you have to keep in mind your income, how much money you're bringing in, and your expenses, all the money that gets paid out on a regular basis. Okay. And again, if you need videos, I have videos on that as well. And please, if you haven't liked this video yet, please like it. We're almost done with this, but I want to make sure that I get some likes on this. So hopefully more people will be able to see the video. And I don't see any comments. So I'm just going to go ahead and feel free, leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from, or if you have any questions. One thing okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is ways to reduce stress. Okay, so one of the ways to reduce money stress, or any type of stress, if you ask me, is by journaling. Write down what's going on. How do you feel about it, all that stuff. Just write. I find that that is so helpful. When I start to write that, it really helps. So I like journaling. I recommend it to my clients, and I also provide a journal for them as well. Also meditation. Sometimes just sitting and meditating is helpful. I meditate specifically on what I'm thankful for. I have a gratitude list, and I also recommend that to you too, is to have a gratitude list, just things that you write down that you're grateful for, that you're thankful for, and just repeat those, or just really focus on those and just giving thanks for those. Because once you're focusing on gratitude, it's hard for you to focus on the things that are not going well. You do have to face them and you do have to deal with them, but it's important to have that regular practice of gratitude. You can also exercise. I find that exercising really helps to get you out of that stress mode. I don't care what kind of stress you're going through, unless it's physical stress, like pains in your bodies, or in your body, or stuff like that. Like, I find that exercise is so effective, even if it's just like 30 minutes. Hey, even 10 to 15 minutes. Just move your body, turn on some music, or do an exercise routine or something like that. I find that it can be so helpful for reducing stress. One thing I do not recommend is shopping. I know that I've already said set aside some money for for fun, your fun money, but I do not recommend shopping when you are stressed. And the reason why is because when you are stressed out, you don't always make the best choices, right? I know I don't. So shopping at that time is not a great time. Also, when you're hungry, you don't want to shop when you're hungry. You don't want to grocery shop when you're hungry. No, that's a other different topic. But yeah, I do not recommend retail therapy when you are stressed out. Yes, you're gonna have your fun money. Definitely use your fun money to do what you need to do with it. But when you're stressed out, I don't recommend shopping, unless you're just using just your fun money to get yourself something special. Then that's a separate case. But shopping therapy, retail therapy, can lead to more stress. Okay. But let me know in the comments if you have ever done retail therapy. I know I have. I am guilty, but it's something that I really try to avoid, because it's just not a healthy way of coping with stress. It feels good, but if you're using credit and you're blowing your budget and all of that, then you end up feeling bad. So it's sort of like having a sugar, um, having a binge on sugar, and then when you're finished, then you feel low, you feel sad, you feel tired, all that stuff. So stay away from retail therapy. It's tempting, but no. Okay. All right. So, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll feel free to answer. I'll be glad to answer those. All right. You definitely want to make sure that you are prioritizing your self care journey. Okay. It's important that it's an integral part of your financial planning. So, you want to make sure that you do this periodically. I recommend once a week doing the things, like making sure you check your accounts, making sure that you check your budget, making sure that you're staying on task with your budget. The only thing that I would not recommend doing is checking your investments every week, especially unless you're day trading or swing trading or something like that, unless you can handle it, because I feel like sometimes it causes more stress doing that, especially with beginners. And so sometimes you get off track with your investing because you're like, oh my gosh, I lost money, let me pull my money out. So I wouldn't really recommend over checking your investment accounts, but I do recommend that your financial self-care is a part of your regular financial planning. Okay. And that is something that during the process of financial coaching, it helps, because when you're in a financial coaching situation, first of all, we meet one on one and we talk about your financial situation. Then you may have some follow up things that you work on, so that you're constantly talking about money. You're constantly having touch points with your money in a non threatening, in a holistic way, so that it's not about, oh my gosh, now I have to rush and check this because something is about to come out, but you have regular contact points with your money and you're able to manage your money in a way that brings you joy. Okay. So I found that my clients who previously had a lot of financial stress now have a lot of financial peace, because they're able to um, just get in that habit and it feels less intimidating. Hold on one second. I got a sleepover. I'm sorry, I have a sleeper over here, guys. That's what happens when you go live. All right. So you want to make sure that you have yeah, so I was saying that in my financial coaching program, that's one of the benefits, is that there's several touch points when it comes to your finances. And so you're not feeling like, you're just visiting your bank accounts when something is going wrong, or something like that. All right. And you want to make sure that you have a routine. So for me, I usually take out 1 day a week. And when I have that 1 day a week, then I may take like an hour just to look over my finances, just to see where I need to tweak things and see what changes I need to make, or everything is going great, I'm happy, whatever. But it's just a good thing to just stay in that mode. So everything that I recommended earlier, as far as a routine goes, you can just incorporate those things and make sure that you're doing them on a regular basis. So I'm going to open now for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I don't see any questions yet, so feel free, don't be shy. If you have any questions about financial self-care or anything else related to finances, feel free to put them in the comment section. Okay, I'm gonna wait like one more second or a couple of seconds. If I don't get any questions, then I will just move on. And if you're watching this as a replay, please feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. Any questions that you may have, because I want to make sure that I see them and I can answer them. The chat won't be available after this session, but you can leave your questions in the comments. All right. Oh, and also I should mention, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. That way you'll know whenever I upload a new video. On this channel, I discuss all things money, and I use different angles when it comes to talking about money. I talk about money mindset, making money, saving money, investing money. So definitely come back and see the videos that I have. I usually post a long form video once a week, and then I have like some shorts. This week, I'm doing something a little bit different by going live. And of course, this replay will be available. So I would love to have you come back and check out what I have. I have a very small channel so far, but with your help and your support, it can be a big channel. I believe that. Okay. So I'm just going to recap a couple of things before we end. So again, financial self-care is very important, making sure that your finances are in order and aligned with your values, your morals, how you want to live your life. But that's only going to happen if you take control of your money. So having regular self-care, financial self-care practices, such as checking your accounts, journaling, um, budgeting, setting goals, things like that are very essential. Also, recognizing when you're going through financial stress. If thinking about money and the things that are going on in your life regarding money is causing you to feel stressed out or causing you to feel depressed, lose sleep, things like that, be aware of those things and seek help, seek professional help. I didn't say seek out a doctor. However, if you're having physical ailments as a result, you may want to seek out some sort of doctor. I'm not going to tell you whatever doctor you should look to find. I personally use a chiropractor if I need one, but I also go to therapy regularly, and that has been helpful. And as a financial coach, my clients have felt that it was very helpful to be able to take a deep dive into what's going on with them financially and dealing with their financial mindset, because a lot of them have struggled with um, financial stress based on their childhood or past relationships. Like I said before, I work with a lot of divorced moms. So a lot of it has to do with that transition from being married to divorce, or what was going on while they were married, or what has happened as a result. So definitely be aware of the signs and get help, and practice mindfulness. Like I said before, well, I mentioned that already, the budgeting, setting financial goals, and ways to reduce stress, such as journaling, exercising. I do not recommend shopping. So that's about it. Hopefully you got something out of this. Definitely come back to my channel again. My website is rgconsulting.com. You could take a look at my website and see the services that I offer. And if you think that you need help with managing your finances, you can see the description below to set up a free consultation with me, or go to my website and do it however you want to do it. And just remember what I always say: change your mind, change your pocketbook. See you in the next video. And thanks. Oh, sorry, I missed something. What should one do if their budget keep falling short? Oh, thank you for that question. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry I didn't see it. If your budget keeps falling short, so let me make sure that I understand what you're saying. If you, I'm going to repeat it, and then you let me know if I got it correct. So you mean if you're not able to, if you set a budget but you're still not able to afford certain things, is that what you mean? Or are you saying that you're trying to do a budget but you're just not able to actually do a budget? So if you could clarify that for me, then I can definitely answer that question, but I don't want to answer the wrong question. And thank you so much for posing your question, and thank you for being here, Elijah, or Wendy. Oh, I no, I know who you are now. So yeah, if you could just be a little more specific, then I can answer that question. And so while you're typing that, I can just talk a little bit more about budgeting. So a lot of times, when people set a budget, they're not taking in consideration all of the expenses that they have. Sometimes there's little things that they're not putting in their budget. And because they're not putting in those little things in their budget, they think that they're budgeting, but they're really not truly budgeting because they're only considering some of the money that has to come out. So if there's more money coming out than what you expected to come out, then that budget is really not going to be that effective. You want to make sure that you're as accurate as you can when you put your budget together of how much money comes out. You also want to know how much money comes in, obviously, but I think where people fall short is definitely like how much money they account for that's going to come out. So all the little runs to the grocery store, all the little uh, apps that you pay for, all the little tiny things here and there that you may not have thought about. Maybe you give $5 here, $5 there. You definitely want to keep better track of that to help you budget better. Hopefully that helps. I didn't see a clarification, but feel free, even after I close the chat, if you want to leave a comment in the comment section, I'll come back and answer your question. And if that answered your question, please let me know as well. And I mentioned earlier, and thanks for the heart. Please like the video itself. Hit the like button because that would definitely be helpful. I mentioned this earlier that sometimes when people are not successful with their budget, it's because they're using the wrong budget method. So there are different budgeting methods, and I don't have time to get into all of them here, but sometimes they're using the zero-based method, and that's not helping them. Sometimes they use the 50-30-20 method, and that doesn't work for them. Or, so there's so many different ways of doing it. It's not, sorry, there's not one size fits all. So if you're trying to do, I recommend at least 30 to 60 days with any type of budgeting method. If you try it for 30 to 60 days and it doesn't work, then you can try something else. But unless you are doing it for a while, it will be hard for you to tell. And before you actually commit to a budgeting method, you want to have at least a couple of months worth of expenses that you can look at, income and expenses that you can look at to kind of get a trend of, how you spend your money or how you make your money. Did I cover it? You said yes? Okay, awesome. Awesome. I'm glad that I was able to help. But yeah, you want to make sure that you set yourself up for success by pre-planning, making sure that you've looked through all your bank statements, receipts, things like that, before you set up your budget to see exactly how you're spending your money. Obviously, from month to month, there may be some little changes, but you want to minimize that as much as possible and kind of keep things consistent, because that will help you be able to stay on track with your budget. I even tell my clients to budget for things that only come up like once a year. So budget it in a way as if it's monthly. So for instance, if you have to do your car registration once a year, I don't remember how much I pay for that. I think I pay like 80 something dollars a year. Breaking that 80 something down per month into months. And so you're budgeting towards it. And then you just have a separate account that you keep that money in so that you're paying for that. Because sometimes it's like, okay, now it's registration time. Boom, you're paying that 80 something dollars that you didn't plan for, you didn't think about. And then that hurts your budget. So even with things that come up periodically, but that they're going to come up, it's important to work those into your budget as well. I even go as far as like gift giving and things like that, planning ahead for gifts, having a gift giving account. Like, I am rogue when it comes to that, but it's just a matter of having that sense of control and not feeling like, oh my gosh, I paid this money and now I'm stuck. So you want to get as much control as you can, and life is going to happen. But the more prepared you are, the less stress you're going to feel, because first of all, you'll make sure that you have certain things in place so that if something were to occur, you're covered. Like having an emergency fund is something that I didn't mention in my talk earlier, but it's essential to your financial self-care, making sure that you have a buffer or an umbrella, I like to call it, so that if you have something come up, which, life is going to life, like they say. Cars are naughty, they break down. They have issues when you don't ask them to. Roofs have issues, appliances, all sorts of things like that. So you want to make sure that you have an emergency fund in place so that if these things happen or when they do, you can be covered. Even if you don't have the whole amount, if you have some of it, it will take off some of the pressure. Okay? That is it for me. I don't want to go too long. I hope that this has been helpful to you, and I hope that you come back and visit my channel again. And like I said before, I'm reclosing again. Change your mind, change your pocketbook. See you in the next video.